Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Good evening. This is Street Soldiers. This is Lady Estelle and the Street Soldier crew, and we are back for a Super Bowl Sunday with you. Your host this evening is glad to see that we are still here. We are healthy. We are alive and free. Your host, Dr. Joseph E. Marshall Jr.
Thank you, Lady E. Thank you, Lady E. Good evening, Street Soldiers. Good evening, Alive and Free Radio. Ready to roll here on this Super Bowl Sunday. And let me just say it right on top. That was a beat down. Okay. That was a beat down. No, nothing personal for anybody. It was just
the Chiefs got super rolled at this Super Bowl, okay?
It wasn't a comment on it was just a comment on the game. It wasn't, I mean, the soul hit me up at halftime and said, I'm turning this game off.
I did. I only watched, a little bit. I looked up and it was 0-7. I said no. And then I turned it back on and then I saw Mahomes get sacked. I saw the defense. It was just like it was popping and cracking, and the Chiefs had to take it. Oh my goodness. I thought, I'm not watching this. First of all, I know this is your time, but I'm just gonna take
go right ahead.
Okay,
you're a fan. I understand. It's your team.
Well, yeah, no. I grew up with the Chiefs. Hey, I've been in the Chiefs locker room. I was there. I mean, Nick Lowry, one of the old quarterbacks, had Dia in his arms, carrying her around when she was 7 years, no, maybe 5 years old. Anyway, so yeah, all about the Chiefs. Mahomes is magnificent. What happened? Oh my goodness. And I get stressed out. So I don't really watch because my heart starts to race. I need a glass of wine. It's just like, just watching them win is stressful to me. But baby, today, the little bits that I saw, I thought, are they playing? What is going on?
Lady E, I'm gonna tell you what happened today.
Are they gonna get on the scoreboard?
What happened today, Lady E? Them big boys took over today. In football, they like to call them the big uglies, because they the big 300-pound boys at the line, and they decided they was gonna win today.
It was all about it. They came out like, we are winning this game, period, with a T. Oh, it was heartbreaking. and then let me just say, sorry, Dr. Marshall. No, and then I had an idea to just go ahead and watch halftime. I couldn't understand a thing they were saying. I'm like, look, okay. So now I'm too old for this. And I'm too over this. It was a super roll. It was a super roll over the Chiefs today. I'm so glad they got on the board. I was surprised they got 20. And them are my Chiefs, okay? All right. So
Hey, that halftime performance, love me some Kendrick Lamar. That's a bad brother.
Oh,
And yeah, it was for the youngsters. That's what I like it. He didn't try to make it for everybody. He made it for his
hold
folks.
on, hold on. We're gonna spend a special time just dissecting the halftime show. Okay.
Oh man.
Because we are on a
thank you for letting me
hip-hop
have this
station.
talk time,
Let's
Dr.
stick with the football for now. Okay. And Lady E, you put it all in perspective. I understand. You've been on a roll. They were the 2-time repeat champions. They were going for the impossible first time. And y'all know I was at the courtesy of the 49ers. I was at the Eagles Chiefs game a few years ago, and they came so close. So to me, this was like, I've been waiting for revenge. When somebody beats you, and it was close, right? And so you're like, okay, I'm here. And Jalen, he just wasn't losing. So it's
now your frat brother is
more to the Eagles than I do to they dominated.
I'm so conflicted.
Yeah. Well, why are you conflicted?
Because I hate the Eagles.
Okay.
I definitely hate the Chiefs.
Mike, I knew you would be.
I'm just so much of a Niner fan. We just been tricking off Super Bowls.
And now Debo want to be traded, so you really must be sick.
My God. But one good thing is though that this week the NBA kind of dominated the headlines.
That's
this
true.
week.
That's true.
So it was in a weird way.
That's true.
Like I didn't even.
Football wasn't the thing.
Football wasn't
You're right.
even on my mind this whole week.
Right. And the All-Star game coming up, and All-Star week.
Yes.
The game is horrible, but I know what they're gonna do.
They
but
gotta work on that.
The week gonna be good. But all right, let's put to Super Bowl. If anybody else got any comments on the Super Bowl before we
just congratulations to your frat brother. Jalen Hurts got the MVP. That's your frat brother, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. That's right. Great. Congratulations to him. Great guy, great player, great dude.
And Lettucey saying the
come on now.
So congratulations.
Lettucey is my soror.
Absolutely.
That's one of my sorors.
Yes.
Lettucey blew it up.
Yeah. It was
good.
All right. And this is actually the second show of Black History Month. It's not the second show of the sports world. Second show of Black History Month. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Had a wonderful show kicking off last week. Had a wonderful trivia contest. And I gotta ask Philmo, did Philmo get his book yet? You get your book yet?
Yes, sir.
Thank
you. Appreciate it.
2 books.
Yeah.
You got
homework.
You got homework. You got Strength of Love by Dr. Martin Luther King, and From the Browder File by Anthony Browder. We gave away last week, and that's a deep one, man.
That's a deep one.
Yeah, we can have discussions on every little essay in the book. Yeah, brother. I'm always trying to raise your consciousness, brother.
Wait a minute. Do I see some letters in the house? I'm sorry, Dr. Marshall. Do I see some letters in the house?
Yes, you do.
Yes, so Roar. Hey.
Wait, hold on. Ann, I need you to zoom in on the lady with the letters. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Hey, so Roar, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Let's get into we done all the acknowledgments, and it's not okay. Anybody know what this is? What's this? It's this. Only cause this is a gift. What's this? What's the symbolism of this?
1619 project.
1619 project.
That's Nicole Hannah Jones.
Written by whom? Written by whom? Who wrote it?
Oh man.
Nicole
Hannah Jones. Come on now.
Right. And who got me this sweatshirt?
Oh, did I get it for you?
Yes.
Oh, hey, I'm good. Yeah. Because I give you so many things, I can't keep up. So.
Hannah Nicole Hannah.
Something. I mess up her name sometimes. I mix it up, but
3 of them. It's 3 names.
Yeah, 3 names. But the symbolism of 1619 is big in Black history. Before the Mayflower.
Nicole Hannah Jones.
Nicole Hannah Jones.
Yeah.
Lord, we done messed up her name.
And there's a
baby.
podcast that also goes with that book that came out with it, as long as the New York Times too. That show as well. That magazine. That podcast is something else.
Yeah, yeah. And I read the whole thing. It's wonderful. Go back and read it in the New York Times. Absolutely. All right, let's get into news because we got a lot of show to do. A second show of Black History Month. So you have given us some news, and let's start with Ann, somebody that you care about greatly. Let's start with the passing of KTVU anchor Dennis Richmond. Okay?
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. Longtime KTVU Channel 2 anchor Dennis Richmond who died this week at 81, is being remembered as a steady presence on Bay Area broadcasting whose influence continues to be felt. And well, we all saw him. We saw him.
If you grew up in the Bay,
Yeah.
you knew his face, you knew that voice.
Starting his career in 1968 as a clerk typist. Wow, you're talking about working yourself up from the bottom, all right? Richmond quickly rose through the ranks to become the anchor of the 10 o'clock news in 1976. For more than 30 years, his smooth, no-nonsense delivery made him a trusted figure in homes across the region, and he was one of the first Black anchors in a major market TV newscast. Already retired in 2008. Doesn't seem that long ago that he had retired. Yeah, that's 16 years he had been off the air. So yeah. So Ann, you say what you want to about Dennis. I mean, we all loved him. You know, we all know him. Go ahead, say it.
Oh, he was just such a good man. And okay, I have a memory. My memory is when I was in college studying journalism, I got to go visit the KTVU studio, just like you, Mike. But Mike's on Like It or Not every so often. But I remember like I got to go in there and he sat down and like did the hand under their chin and he like asked me about my future and what I wanted to do. And I was like, oh, I want to be right in here with you. And so
Oh wow.
like he like cared. He like leaned in, wanted to know my answers as we were doing election stuff. And I just, one, I always like liked him, but then the fact that he like seemed to care about me and and I don't know you and you don't know me, but it was just, yeah, I just like, and that's just one memory. It's just everyone across social media and in the world have been sharing memories about him. He was just such a good person. And we like that when it comes to journalists. So I just wish his family peace.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful words for Dennis Richmond. So I like this one. It would have been Trayvon Martin's 30th birthday.
Yeah.
30th birthday. All right. And to celebrate, his mother, Sabrina Fulton, shared an Instagram photo showing her next to her son's final resting place. That takes a lot. Just to go there and happy heavenly birthday, Trayvon, read the caption. We all know the tragic story of the shooting of Trayvon Martin at the age of 17 by George Zimmerman. It brought to fore a law. I never heard about Stand Your Ground before that, right? I didn't even know that law.
That's kind of when we all, for the general public, that's when we started hearing about it.
It really came to light.
Yeah. Zimmerman fatally shot Martin and later claimed self-defense.
Yeah, it was murder.
Under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. And then he was acquitted of second-degree murder and manslaughter charges the following year. And I think we could officially say, or maybe unofficially say, that was the start of the Black Lives Matter protest, right? The shooting of Trayvon Martin, which then shone the light.
Trayvon and Oscar Grant, yeah.
Yeah, Oscar Grant, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So happy heavenly birthday, Trayvon. We will say that. We will say that also. That he should be here. He should be here. And I think the last thing we have already noted the powerful rendition of the Black National Anthem by Let Us See. And I got to tell you this. So when I was at the Super Bowl in, what was that? 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And in Glendale, Arizona, 49ers hooked me up. Okay, so I'm in line. I'll get in line. I got to get my little Polish dog. A couple of hot dogs. And they started singing the Black National Anthem. I'm like, I got to get out of line and go stand and say. I'm like, I mean, no offense to white people, like, what is that song? And I had to tell them it's the Black national anthem, So they like some of them just kept standing, But I mean, I had never heard, and they still singing it. I mean, that is so cool. That is so cool, And this year was Let Us See, and beautiful, beautiful.
Does that happen at every Super Bowl?
That's the point. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they did it the year before. I don't know, but I know they did then. They did it. I have to look that up. We'll have to look that up. I hope they continue to do that.
I'm just usually just a halftime show person. And then I go back to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, and it was before the game. It was a great introduction, and they're saying it was, and it was performed by. Go ahead, Ann.
Well, since you're talking about music, I was just gonna share. It's Valentine's Day this weekend, and one of our co-hosts here, Miss Lady Estelle, has a song called My Funny Valentine that you can find on Spotify.
That's right.
I just wanted to make sure people knew about that.
Oh, yeah. That wonderful version of My Funny Valentine. She does. She sings a wonderful version of Valentine,
Yes.
accompanied by some piano player. I don't know who, but
It's also Single Awareness Day for
Yeah.
those who don't want to leave y'all out.
No.
Nobody even noticed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nobody notices. Nobody notices a piano player, but the vocalist is.
The piano player is by Dr. Marshall. Yes. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and highlight that because she has such a beautiful album, and I think this is a good time to highlight that.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this before we get into the official. Let's break down, and the callers can help. Let's break down Kendrick Lamar's halftime show.
Ooh.
I need that. We got to do that. This wasn't the typical halftime show.
There's so many think pieces already out there.
Here's the thing. Those are big deals. To get to perform a halftime at the Super Bowl. And initially when he got, there was a little upset by somebody in Louisiana, New Orleans rapper. Why are you coming to my town? Ain't getting me. Well, man, take yourself out the picture, brother.
Right.
Okay, just get a brother his due. Let him do his thing. So, Mike laughing. There was so much symbolism in this, and somebody texted me who was not Black, and I joined. He said, "I think I like the show, but I couldn't understand none of the words." I said, "Don't worry about it. A lot of people didn't get the words. Don't worry about that." But the symbolism. So, who wants to begin with breaking down this remarkable, and I'm calling it remarkable, halftime show by the one and only, as far as I'm concerned, Kendrick Lamar? Where do you begin? Go ahead. So
I don't know. Malcolm started us off earlier, so I think you were also talking about it.
I just love Kendrick.
I'll take a
I
call.
love seeing him up there.
If a caller wants to join in, 877-955-1061. Because when I got here, somebody was always calling him to tell him to play. Just like, okay, so you want to jump in? We'll take a couple calls before we go to the show. The symbolism, I would even say the importance at this particular time of, I'm going to call him Brother Lamar. Brother Lamar's halftime show. Okay, so you start.
Hey, when Serena came out in Crip Walk, I lost it on that one. That was it to me.
All right.
Because I didn't expect that. And that was actually funny to me. Because I think her and Drake used to date or something. So it was just comedy.
Think about that. They used to date.
Oh,
they did?
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Well, that's the thing about Kendrick. He's so thoughtful in so many ways, I just love that brother. He's so creative. And his mic could have been up a little louder. That's a fair criticism, but that's not him. That's the mix and all that stuff. But I like it when people don't understand hip hop. I like when old folks don't understand hip hop.
Okay.
That means we doing something.
Yes,
Right.
yes. I noticed a friend of mine, Dr. Cameron Beatty, talked about just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you didn't like it. Talking about you didn't like it because you didn't understand it, you sound silly, right? There was many other things that you could, you didn't like it to move on, but to talk about it because you don't understand it.
So the way I had this person look at it, if he had spoken in French, you still would have got the impact. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you didn't have to understand the words to me in order to get what he was trying to do. So, when I put it that way, it could have been, any other language, foreign language to him, and it made sense. But what else was in there, did you think?
I like the way he represented the American flag with the dancers, right? It was also too symbolic when we had the black women in the white clothing.
Mhm.
You know, there is also too. I believe it looks like it was a the TV show game.
Squid Games.
Games. Yeah, right. The whole board, because
that-
before
okay.
we got into it, they gave us an aerial shot of it, and it looks like it was a Squid Game, but they also too, it was clear, right? The boxes were clear, in terms of you can't necessarily kind of put us in a box, the containment.
I love that. And having Samuel L. Jackson, that took it to the next level.
Right.
You know?
Right. Especially that, and with his kind of role in Django, and how, if we look at some folks who was also chosen to participate in some things that you kind of give folks the side eye in terms of why are you participating in this particular, these shenanigans, as I like to call them. But I also like the way he said, the revolution is about to be televised.
Yeah, that was
Y'all just chose.
And see, you got to know where that comes from.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know what that saying is. You got to know a little history.
That's from Gil Clark to
Gil Scott Heron.
Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah, you see, you got to know that. So he took you there. And Kendrick would know that. There's a lot of artists.
Mhm.
Who the hell is Gil Scott Heron?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To me, the first thing that got me in mind, I don't know about you, was the choice of colors. Red, white, and blue.
Yep.
I'm as American as all y'all out there.
Thank you.
That to me set the tone for everything else.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And my text to everybody was, he did his thing, and I did this, and some people might. This ain't no minstrel show.
Mm-mm.
This is not a minstrel show.
No.
Because the themes that so many people have about hip hop, guns, drugs, money, sex, blah, blah, blah. This ain't that. This ain't that now. I'm just gonna give it to you. And you didn't hear any of that. You didn't see any of that.
Mm-mm.
It was almost like, I won't call it militant.
But the choreography is it is a little militant.
Well, okay.
It's just not over the top.
But
it is.
Yes. And we
What
have some
is
people
that?
from the Bay.
We gonna be all right. He's like that.
Yeah.
That's way, because he's a conscious brother.
Right.
And to me, weaving that in so skillfully without just cussing you out, to me, it's like, nah, I don't care what y'all say about us. That's me. Now I don't know what y'all think. Filmo, you can.
No, I just gonna say we had some people. Shout out to the Bay Area dancers that was in the participated in the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Ice Cold, somebody from the Turfies, my guy Ice Cold, Dopey Fresh from San Francisco, and I think Skeeter. So shout out to the dancers.
Choreography was off the hook.
It was good.
And for so long, it was just brothers. I love seeing all them brothers out there, man. The brothers in formation. It was just, man, this dude, he makes statements, man. He makes statements. And again.
It went over a lot of people's heads.
Well, that's okay, because they can now dissect. What was this darn dude trying to do?
But that's art to me. Like art. Art, you can see something a second and third time and go, oh, I'll pick up on that. Sometimes our art is so easy, so pre-packaged. It's like a sliced cheese. You get everything the first time. He's not that kind of person. He's going to give you a little more.
I'm going to take you way back. It's like listening to Thelonious Monk for the first time. What the hell is that? John Coltrane. What is that? But he's in that lane, right?
He's an artist.
He's in all of that. You're like, man, what is that?
Yeah.
Then you go back and
And when you look at what he did, I think the Grammys, when he did that too as well, that was powerful.
The boy connects dots.
Mm-hmm.
He connects dots. I'm gonna give you one. My last one. I'm going too far. The film on you ain't said nothing yet, but to me, this was the equivalent of, and just me, just me. Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. I'm just gonna sit down. I'm gonna make my statement. I'm taking a knee. I ain't gonna hit nobody in the head. I ain't gonna scream. I ain't gonna shout. But what I'm doing is symbolic, and you ain't gonna get it. And you might run me out the league, but I'm still gonna take that knee. Now that's what it actually, because it was a football game, right? And it was halftime, and entertainment is so special. And I imagine there's gonna be a lot of people. I mean, we don't need to see. I mean, I know they're gonna, just like Colin, we don't need to have that. It's bad for the league. It's bad for money. I don't get it. Blah blah blah. We'll see about that. But that's what in my mind just was, but it's Black History Month, so I get to do that.
Yeah. I bet you're going to see the most watched halftime show. I bet you. You're going to see the numbers.
They usually like to, we'll see. We'll see. Lady E, does that help a little bit?
Yes, it does. Every now and then, because, I'm one of those old people. Let me just say that first. I am one of those old people. And there are some things that I just don't understand. And it's important sometimes for older people to get some interpretation. Make it clear. What's going on? Because I saw the red, white, and blue. I love seeing Samuel Jackson. There ain't nobody like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate the perspectives that you're bringing out.
Yeah, and if you can, and actually telling that person, if it was just looking at it as a foreign language, but just still had an impact. Yeah. And we've been to, there are movies that we've seen, we made that are foreign language films or something like that. You don't really always understand the language, but you like, ooh, something's going on in there because the acting is so good, right? Then you get the subtitles, or a silent movie. You ever seen a silent movie? You ain't know about such a silent movie. When they don't talk at all.
I have no.
Yeah. You gotta how good you gotta be when there ain't nobody talking and you're watching the movie and your actions is so like, yeah.
Doc, let me say it this way.
Art. Yeah.
Sometimes we understand every word somebody's saying in the entire performance, and we're still not moved. So
right.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yes. Well, I have to say I was at church today, and because I don't miss if I can be there, I'm there. And there was a lovely song that was saying I couldn't understand a word she was saying. And so yeah, I don't know if it's time for a hearing aid or I need to sit up close to the front.
but the feeling came
so
across,
so
right?
what I'm saying is it's not about the rap. It's about just hearing and because I do have that intellectual part of me that's just trying to comprehend. I just want to understand. So yeah, I missed church. I missed that song today at church, and I missed the one this evening. So talk to me. I will listen.
Thumbs up, Kendrick Lamar halftime. Thumbs up,
thumbs
up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. We got I love Black History Month so much. I do, man. I do. And as we did last week, I tell people, and we did it with the kids. We had a great class with the kids. Lady E, your questions were wonderful. The kids are so, I'm telling you, these kids are so into it. And these are high school kids. And they leaning. You know how good the material is when you leaning? You don't say like you leaning into the instruction.
Yeah, right.
You leaning. And their eyes are like, okay, what? We did this wonderful questionnaire with the kids, and it was like, and then more, man. And one text me the next day, and said, man, that was a great class. Yeah, it's a great class. And we just teaching, we talk about the Ankh, right? And the symbolism of the Ankh. And the girl texted me the next day and she said, man, the Ankh kind of looks like the whole human body. I mean, what a great class. So we're gonna get into today's show, which features stars the Marshall Riley. Well, what's the base? What's the base? Black Achievement and Scholastic Excellence Program. Is that how it is?
Success. I'm sorry.
At the University of San Francisco. Every year they take a group of students on the Immersion tour. And we're gonna let them explain what the Immersion tour is. I actually would recommend this for anyone, and we'll tell you why. And we're gonna hear from staff at USF, and we're gonna hear from some of the young people and what they got out of the Immersion tour. So introduce, and let's get into it. You first, who've been here before.
Okay. Hi, I am Dr. Aja Holmes, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Students and Director of Community Living, and also the Director for the Marshall Riley Living Learning Community at the University of San Francisco. This is my 4th year here, and this was my 3rd time on the immersion trip. It's a beautiful trip.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be with you all tonight. My name is Lamonte Stamps. I serve as the Assistant Dean for Initial Year and Family Engagement at the University of San Francisco. I've been at USF for about 6 years now, and this is my first time on the trip, so I'm super appreciative to have had this opportunity to go on the trip this year.
So before we get into the trip, let's talk about BASE and its ramifications and all that's happened in a very short time. How about how, just go ahead, you start. Who wants to start?
Eeny,
meeny, miny. Okay.
Dr. Holmes.
So I want to say maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, in terms of BASE was created, Black Academic Success and Engagement, and it was really created to ensure that our Black students had the support and the surroundings and systems in place to be able to make sure they matriculate to graduation. And then we also added there are some BASE scholars that get the scholarship as well as full tuition scholarship for 4 years. And of that too is also to our Marshall Riley Living Learning Community. And so those students live together on a floor in one of the residence halls, and they get a chance to also take a class together in the fall, African American 100, in the spring, African American 200. And in the fall, we look at how African Americans situated themselves, in the culture and the history since they've been here. As well as in the spring, we look more in terms of San Francisco and that Black community, and we kind of immerse ourselves into the workings of the Fillmore neighborhood. And so it's kind of like a funnel. We start from big and going to go to small. And so this semester, they're connected with some of our awesome organizations in the community, and they actually go and do community service and service learning in those spaces. And so in between that, the meat of it is that trip that we do, the immersion trip that happens in the January. And so it kind of is right in the middle of both their 100 and 200 classes. And that trip takes them through the South there, starting in Louisiana, Alabama, and Atlanta. And Georgia is what we went to this year. In the past, we've gone to Mississippi and Tennessee as well.
You want to ask something about BASE more on the trip?
I think it just with USF in general, it's just really nice to have this commitment and initiative to really support our Black students at the university. I think it's a program like no other university or college in the country. And so
say that one more time.
It's like no other program at any college or university in our country. And so it's just really nice to be at an institution that's really committed to supporting our students in various ways.
And this is at a predominantly white institution, as we say, PWI. Now, Mike, I want to explain.
But you at a Jesuit.
At a Jesuit, at
Catholic,
Jesuit school.
yeah.
So this was really goes back a number of years, but it was in response to the fact that the Black students would come there and not graduate.
Right.
Okay. There were the matriculation, which is basically graduation rate, or they didn't feel supported at the school, right? And so the numbers of Black students at the school would sort of wax and wane. They would go up and they go down, go up and go down, go up and go down. I mean, I go back so far.
Yeah.
It was up, and then, and when I say up, I mean like not very much up, but there was nobody there before, right? And it came to a place where the university made a commitment to look, if you're going to come here, we're going to support you.
Yeah.
We're going to support you. We're going to enrich the experience as best we can. We're going to build staff around you. We're going to, it was very intentional. And I'm going to say that, very intentional. And all kudos to the president who just left, Father Paul Fitzgerald, because everything starts at the top.
Right.
And he says, we're going to do this. And the big thing is we're going to throw some money in there.
Yeah.
Because this place is expensive as hell. Okay.
Yeah. That's important.
Now, you can't get you to come unless we can help, put some money behind your education. It was an idea. But it's one thing having ideas like an entrepreneur. I got an idea, I want to start this business, and fine. Okay, we're going to do it. And some businesses flame out in the first 5 years.
Right.
Some don't last 3 years, right?
Right.
This is now, I guess, the 6th year. And this would be the 2nd graduating class, or maybe it's the 5th or 6th year. I can't
This
remember.
is probably the 7th year.
Is it?
So this would
Okay.
be, this will probably be about the third graduating.
And you said it right. It is the most successful program of its kind in the country. There are things that happen at USF with us Black students that don't happen at historical Black colleges.
Yeah, right.
They aren't. And with us, wherever we are, we're going to make it home, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to make it home. If it's an HBCU or a PWI, we're going to make it home. And it's just been amazing what has happened with the program. The quality of students is unmatched. The experience that they're having is from all the feedback we're just talking to them is fantastic. And this tour that they take, I don't think this is built into the program, right?
It's built into the program.
It's built in the immersion tour. Now that again, and let's talk about this tour specifically because we always talk about the wonderful things that are going on there. Who came up with the idea of the tour? And I'm first of all, we had Dr. Candace Harrison on the show last week.
Nice.
Who actually wrote the first position paper, if I can call it on, and then brought it to me and Adrian Riley, and we massaged it and we took it to Father President. But how did this immersion tour come about? Did you guys sit down and say, well, I think we need to do, or do you even know? I don't even know if you know, but it just happened, or the secret doors that it was decided about?
Yeah, Dr. Candace Harris.
Okay,
is
her.
I
Okay,
think, one who.
I'm glad you said that because she's watching.
Because she also too has, right, exactly. Who has family and also too in Louisiana, knew that you really can't you talk about it without starting in Louisiana at a place at the Whitney Plantation that also centers the experience of the enslaved.
Okay, but those are the stops. I mean, just how did the idea come about to do an immersion tour? I mean, it's like then you decided, but we're going to do this. We want to make this something. Maybe I should have asked her last week, but
that'd have been helpful.
We should invite her to call in. She give us the
Doc, you want to call in?
Yes.
Sarah's call
you want to text us and tell her I came by.
But if you think about it from a standpoint of a historian, and that's what she is, in terms of looking at how do we immerse these students to understand their history, their culture.
Okay.
And why not be able to do that on a 10-day trip? And it's intentional because it's 10 days. Because if you also look at how the Jesuits do their trips and their times, it's also 10 days, right?
Okay.
And it there is something I think also too sacred around the fact that we're doing the 10-day trip, so that way we're able to really get themselves into it, immerse into it, and to also see how we can really have the effects of that trip.
Okay, I was making some notes, but we got a call. If it's Dr. Harrison, I'm gonna fall over. Oh, it's gone. Okay, all right, they're gone. Okay, 10 days. Visiting historical places in the South. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that may change from year to year. But the idea is to because one thing to read about it.
But to physically go.
But it's another thing to be there.
Yeah.
Be
touch
there,
it. Yeah.
immerse yourself in the community.
And immerse.
Yeah.
Immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
And I gotta ask, this is a dumb question, but why don't more people do that? I mean, is that they don't think it's valuable? I mean, I'm not knocking HB. I'm not, but they don't. I just wonder why. I mean, okay, we're doing it. Okay, let's put it like that. And I say we because it's my name's on it. So we're doing it. We're not talking about what they don't do. We're talking about what we do.
Yeah.
And this is the third? How many?
Fifth, I think.
Fifth, yeah.
Okay, fifth one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had, the pandemic, tried to put a ring in it, but we were also too. We went in the summertime. That year, so you were really, really able to kind of feel at its hottest, to be there in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
So I call this.
We go in January. So it's real moderate.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call this again, just because I'm black and proud, like James Brown said, I'm gonna call this sacred.
Yes.
To me, this is sacred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a while, sacred went out, of our, wasn't nothing sacred for about 20 years in that crack epidemic. Wasn't sacred. Mama wasn't sacred. Nothing was sacred. But that's true. Really. I mean, I deal with it. Man, but this is sacred ground we're going on, right? This is to our sacred symbols, which a lot of people still in the year 2025 don't know anything about or have an inkling of, right? And I think that's why, and we'll hear from the young people soon, it has such a powerful impact upon them. But you know how Native Americans have sacred reservation spots, and the American government try to just like desecrate everything, and they'd be like, hell no, you can't desecrate our stuff. To me, we have these places that we don't pay enough homage. 100%. I'm using words like that because that's really the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
And then to take our young people to these places is just, I'm still, of all the remarkable things that's going on in USF, this may be as remarkable as anything else.
Think about some of the places we've been to.
Okay, let's write those down.
Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee, but the first time I ever been to Alabama and Mississippi was 2 years ago on this trip.
Okay.
I would have. Well, Mississippi. I've been to Alabama. Actually, I was there for my cousin's wedding.
Let me tell you, this is 2020, and then the names of those places still scare me.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's it.
Going to Mississippi?
Yeah.
My people from Mississippi.
Yeah, I lived in Mississippi.
That's where all the stuff happened, right? You gotta face both when you go.
You gotta face both. Yeah,
both when you go, because you see the symbols of the oppression and you see the symbols of the resistance. I know I'm being a little,
No, it's actually, you feel like you were going back in time when I visited Mississippi.
And there were parts of the trip, I think last year, where you all actually went to the Delta in Mississippi and saw the living conditions of those communities. And
we're still in sharecropper housing.
Yeah,
feels very much like a developing country in some
and
ways.
It's more than the museums. The museums, that's part, but it's
part of,
what are you trying? Okay, let's talk about the places and where you went, and go ahead. Okay, this time around.
So we start off in Louisiana, and in Louisiana we look at we visit the Whitney Plantation that talks about the plantation from the enslaved.
I couldn't go on no plantation. I could. To me, that's like going through Ghana when you come through the door of no return. That would be hard for me, right?
Well, and I thought the same thing too. Like I was like, I never had the dream or the idea to ever want to step foot on a plantation in any lifetime of mine. But I think, for me, it was my first time actually being able to do it. You have this like overwhelming spirit of emotion that overcomes you. You actually at the Whitney, you actually start at the church. You see these young children made of clay, and then it just started boohoo crying in that moment, because you think about your ancestors. You think about the conditions that they lived in, and this was the land, and you're touching the land that they worked in, that they were traumatized in so many different ways. And I think you asked a very important question in the very early part of this segment was, why don't so many people want to go back? Is because of the symbols and the oppression and the stories that we've been told about slavery. I read something recently where the Post mentioned that slavery is white history, but how we survived it is black history.
I saw that. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I think if we come in it with that context and that lens, I think that opens us up to think about it from a different perspective, and not always about the trauma and the pain, but how we actually overcame it and how we are as a people now.
And I like how we move.
I just wonder if you also, if I may just jump in just with another question before you leave this area, is if you also get in touch with just how grateful you are for where you are at this time in your life.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't leave that piece. That piece is important too.
I think
you see where they are, you think about where your ancestors, what they had to endure. They survived, they endured, and they made it. And then here you are. And now here you are, where you are, experiencing and having what you have, doing what you're doing, all of that can just really bring up so many emotions.
Yeah. I would say that we are our ancestors' wildest dream.
Yes.
And I think language has an important
y'all messing with me. I keep coming up with new words.
And that language is important in how we have changed in terms of from slave to enslaved. You know, so that's very important as well in terms of how we, navigate that. We also look at we visit one of the oldest Black Catholic church in the nation there in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's St.
Peter Claver.
Oh, okay.
And we also see, the Andrinka symbols all over the church. And we also then visit another church there where St. Augustine's that holds the tomb.
That's the one I was thinking of. Oh, wow.
But all over this country, you see the Adinkra symbols that are they're like modified in some way. But somehow, our European counterparts have picked up, and you can see them even with the little covers over the manhole covers.
And then we see them when we're doing a walking tour in Louisiana, in New Orleans. We see them on the gates, and our tour guide, Dr. Anza Augustine, shows us that you can see them on the gates in the houses, what it means to protect the homes that are on theirs too as well. And then we also end that tour in
hold on. We got a call and they dropped a couple times, so we were able to get them. So hi, you're on Street Soldiers. You got a thought you want to share? What's your name? And go right ahead. Quick.
Go on. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, my name is Tyler Baeza.
Yes.
I am a student at USF, University of San Francisco. I'm part of the Marshall Writer Living Learning community. And I guess we'll be talking about the immersion trip.
Hang on. Hang on. We're going to bring you in. Oh, you want to do him now? Do him now.
Yeah, go for it.
We'll do you now. Go ahead. Then we'll hold you over too. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about it since we got you on.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was great. I mean, we had went to like 3 hotels and we went on to a couple of museums. One museum in particular was the one that was in Montgomery, Alabama. That was great. It was definitely one that hit the hardest. When you looked at more in detail about the things that African Americans went through, even stuff I didn't know about my own stuff. I was amazed. It's wow, it was really breathtaking. I was mostly kind of on my own though, just trying to learn as much as I can, looking at the videos they had, and they had even these glass jars with the people who dug the soil of those that they lost because they were hanged. I thought that was really sad. And what else? It was just so much that we had done together that it was kind of it was a way for us to really connect with one another on a spiritual level. And we ate a lot of mostly Southern food. It was all just really amazing. So I was really grateful that I was able to
do this because we're getting close to the end of this hour.
You got the link to be on.
And I want you to come back in a few minutes on the Zoom and join the rest of your fellow students to talk, and we'll continue this conversation then here. So come back in the Zoom and join us. I want to hear more from you about your experience on the Immersion Tour. Alive and Free Radio, hour number 2, Street Soldiers. We're back. Second show of Black History Month. Thank you for joining us for the second hour. Second hour. A wonderful first hour. And a long conversation about about they talking and I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about. Had a long conversation about the Super Bowl and then delved into some conversation about the symbolism or the impact or just have decoded Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance at the Super Bowl, and then launched into the main topic for the night, the Immersion tour by the University of San Francisco's Marshall Riley students to, I don't know, I don't want to say, I don't want to say places. Places doesn't sound a little good. Well, I don't want to say places in the South. Let's say, give me a word for that. Historical sites. Is that a good way to put it? Historical sites in the South. In the studio, we are joined by staff members of the at USF and Dr. Aja. You know, for a long while I want to call you Asia. I know, but you got me the first time. Aja Holmes. I was like, Asia, that don't sound right.
Like
J,
the Aja Holmes.
it's only a and a J and a A. You know. Oh, the sound of God. Buddha. Yeah, man, Mrs. Stell know all that. She know all that. Yeah, is the Amun Ra. You know, yeah, all that. And Lamonte.
No, just don't call me Lamonte.
Lamont. Say your last name again, Lamont.
Stamps.
Stamps
On the
on
envelope.
Okay. And I did say your position again because I didn't know you was way up there like that.
Oh yeah, assistant dean for initial year and family engagement.
That's up there.
Yeah.
I didn't have no assistant dean when I was there. I didn't have nobody.
Yeah. So if you're listening out there,
I didn't have no trust. Look, I didn't have no trustees. I didn't have no staff. Well, I had a couple staff, but I didn't have no assistant deans. I just had me and the fellow students.
Yeah, I work right under Vice President Dean Gary. I mean Vice President Shannon Gary now. So
okay.
Dean of students.
All right. See, yeah,
I'm moving on up there.
Oh, well, we move on, just like the Jeffersons, moving on up.
As long as I have your support, I feel even
please, brother. Look, they start cutting y'all. I'll be back to my BSU days. I'll be right back up there. I won't have no afro this time, but I will be there like, hey, no, y'all can't do this. We have come too far to turn back now. And this hour we are joined by students. They look so solemn. No, why y'all look so solemn? Hey, come on now, man. You on Sweet Soldiers. You better be smiling, okay? This is the doc program. All right. This is the voice of Alive and Free. This is the one and only Street Soldiers. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Talk about just the Immersion tour. And one of the things we pointed out in the first hour, there is no other university that I know of that does this on a regular basis. They may do it, every now and then, but it is built into in fact, you put it on a syllabus. I like that. It's built into the program. Your experience at USF is the Immersion tour, and I think that's a privilege. That's just me personally. Yeah. And I hope you feel the same way because you've been places I ain't been, and it wasn't built in when I was there. And so progress is the main thing. Keep moving forward. We'll make your experience at the university as enriching as possible. So we were just starting with the sites that you went to. We only got to one because we got so excited about the first one. So before we go to you and talk about how you felt about it, let's go to, again, the sites and let's lay out for everybody where you went, and then we'll have them come in. We only got to Louisiana and the plantation when I was like, I can't go on the plantation, but then they told me, yes, you can. Okay, you can do it.
Yeah, so so in Louisiana, when we left, we actually were able to go to the Hurricane Katrina memorial site before we headed to Montgomery.
Yep.
Okay.
We go to Africatown before Montgomery.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to lay it out.
And say where these places were. Where were they?
Okay. And so we also went to Africatown, which is where the Clotilda, the last slave ship that brought over the enslaved.
That's right, that last ship. Yep. Oh yeah.
And what's cool,
that would freak me out too, but that's
yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
What is cool is at this particular town created for themselves schools, stores, and things of that nature. But also too, you can also see how systematically industries have come in and have come through and ran through towns, and the town has gotten a little bit smaller. But they just opened up, I think last year, a self-guided museum that talks about that the creation of that town and the ship, and also to the enslaved as well. And that was open for us. This was the second time our group got to see it this year. It was the first time was last year. And then we head up to
Yeah, so Africatown is right outside of Mobile, Alabama.
Alabama, okay.
And then we ended up going to Montgomery, Alabama, which is where we saw the Equal Justice Institute that Tyler talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian Stevenson.
Yeah, Brian.
Yes.
That's
a bad brother.
We got a chance to see, our group got a chance to see the new third installation, which was a sculpture garden, correct? Because there's an outside portion that also names the different counties where lynching has happened as well, and that there is a museum. You walk through it. It's an outside portion, and an inside portion was the Equal Justice Museum, which is what Tyler was describing.
Yeah.
And then they got the chance to see. This is the only cohort that's got a chance to see the outside part of it with the sculpture garden.
Okay.
So we spent the day in Montgomery, and then we ended up headed to Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep, to Birmingham.
Sorry. It's so many places. We went to Selma first.
Yes.
Yeah, Lord.
They got to walk across
the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Yes. And then we headed to Birmingham, Alabama from there, and went to the 16th Street Baptist Church. We went to Kelly Ingram Park, and then we saw the Freedom Rider site before we ended up heading to Atlanta.
Whew. So many wonderful spots. So many wonderful spots. And you ended the trip in Atlanta?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Did a little differently than what we did before, as we were a little concerned about some possible weather that was coming. As well. But Atlanta, we wanted to go to the Civil Rights Museum, and we were all set to go. The Civil Rights Museum had some renovations going on, so we couldn't do that. And so they got a chance to kind of also look and see at the HBCU Center there, and also the Sweet Auburn District for the birth home of Martin Luther King Jr.
Wow. Okay. All right. You guys went to all those places? Oh man.
We missed a couple too, but
you missed
overall.
You get them up. So let's start again. Let's start here. Everybody introduce themselves. Just say your name and the year you were in school and your major. All right, we'll start that way, and then we'll come back around and pick it up. So, since Ty started already, Ty, unmute yourself and tell us full name and year in school and your major. How come I can't hear Ty? I can't hear Ty. And it's not Ty's fault.
Yeah. There's no sound.
I know. But we don't like dead air in radio. So Ty, continue to work it out. Let's go to the next person.
Okay. All right. Next one I see is it Naomi? Naomi? Okay, your turn. Let's see if we can get you.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm a first year at the University of San Francisco. I'm also a psychology major, and I'm originally from San Diego.
San Diego. All right. Oh, yeah. Say that too, because I like the way you hear you from. Okay. Janelle or Janelle, which one?
Hi, I'm Janelle. I'm a second year design major, and I'm from Montgomery, Alabama.
Where are you from?
Montgomery, Alabama.
My headphones are so bad I can't hear myself. Okay. All right. Desta?
Hi, my name is Desta. I'm from San Diego, and I'm a first year sociology major at University of San Francisco.
All right, San Diego. All right, I love that name, Journey. What? I gotta find out the origin of that name, but go ahead, Journey.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Journey Artis. I'm a first year psychology major at the University of San Francisco, and I'm from Los Angeles County.
And you from where?
Los Angeles County.
That's what I thought you said. I'm from Los Angeles. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We homies. Okay. All right. Malia.
Hi, my name is Malia. I'm a first year design major. at University of San Francisco, and I'm from Portland, Oregon.
But I gotta ask each of you. I'm sure. I got this for me. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler's in the waiting room.
I know. Ty is Ty. Is he there? Is he here? I don't see his face. He's still here. He's coming back. Okay, he's coming back. Okay, Ty, you want to try again? Try again. 1 minute. Okay, let me ask each of you. Naomi, why'd you pick USF? I'm curious. I guess why you had your choice of many schools. Why'd you pick USF?
Honestly, this school had the highest population of Black students. There was also the Marshall Rally program and base on campus, and that really was a big pull for me, as well as their psychology degree. It was a really strong degree. And they had child and youth studies. There's a lot of other child-related minors at different universities I was looking at, but child and youth studies seemed to encompass what I wanted to go into. That's also my minor here at USF.
All right. I always like to hear the reason my university got picked. Janelle, that's it, Janelle?
Yeah, Janelle.
Okay. Janelle, my bad. All right. Why did you pick USF?
I picked USF because it has one of the top design programs in California.
Good reason. Desta?
I picked USF because, as Naomi said, it was one of the schools with the highest Black population aside from the HBCUs I applied for. And I really like California, so I really wanted to stay in California. And I also was lucky to be part of the Black Scholars Program on campus, so that was a really great opportunity for me.
Okay, Journey?
Yeah, similar to what everyone's been saying, the Marshall Riley and just overall base community at San Francisco was a strong pull for me. Additionally, I really like the academic programs that I researched before I committed and that I ended up committing to once I got here. I'm trying to think. Those are the two main reasons for sure, though. And I also wanted to stay in California.
Leah?
I mainly picked USF because it felt like home. My, hometown was very predominantly white, and hearing how diverse the city was and the school was a really big pull for me, echoing what a lot of people have saying. And then my cousin also went to USF and was fortunate enough to be a Black scholar like myself. So I like to kind of follow in her footsteps, and she's been really influential in my college journey so far. So those were the main reasons why I wanted to come here.
Thank you. And Tyler, we're going to try it again.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I should just did a form, sorry. My name is Todd Baez. I'm a student at USF. My major is environmental science, and I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana.
And why'd you pick USF?
I just want to get out of state. I don't really want to stay in Louisiana anymore, and I just really always want to go to to SF or most just like California. So this school gave me like a lot of money to come here. I was like, I won't turn it down, so I just came. So
thank you. We are certainly glad all of you did. And you didn't say one thing, but I noticed I had to do something because you're a very astute group of young people who did your research. I know we gave you some money. I know we gave you some money because I know how much this school costs. It costs a lot more than when I was there. And so I'm glad that we were able to invest. And I hope we continue to invest in your futures, you and the group that's coming after you for your experience at USF. And the Immersion tour, just in the conversations that we've had, was set up to as like a number of things that happened there to enrich your experience. When you first heard about it, what did you think? And you know what you guys should do? You should all unmute yourself because we're on the radio. It takes too long. Just unmute yourself. Be ready to jump in. Because, go ahead, Journey. There you go, Desta. Unmute yourself. Good. All right. Just jump in whenever. You don't have to raise your hand, like we do with classes. It's live radio. Only 10 million people are watching and listening. Okay. Don't get up. All right. So when you first heard about the Immersion tour, what'd you think? I just want to know your first thoughts. And how did you hear about it? They walk in and say, this is something we're going to do. What were your thoughts? Naomi, go.
That was also part of my research. That was part of the reason why I chose to still come to this university, because there was this opportunity. I'd never been to the South. whatsoever. And this felt like a really structured and good way to go and learn about it. And especially when it was introduced in the class and introduced as this would be every student who had from previous cohorts who came in was like, this was life changing. I'm a whole different person because I've gone here. My goals, my dreams, aspirations, how I am has changed. And so it was like, whoa, this is a trip you need to be on. This trip you need to go to.
Okay. Janelle, why'd you pick? Well, when you first heard about the immersion tour, did you know, or what were your thoughts?
I first
Yeah, go ahead.
I first heard about it my freshman year from the students who were in the cohort of that year, and I thought it was just an amazing opportunity. So I really wanted to join my sophomore year because I felt like that's an opportunity I couldn't miss up on.
Journey?
Yeah, I definitely resonated with what Naomi said. I remember hearing from upperclassmen of past cohorts that going on the trip was super monumental, life changing. It brought their cohort together. It opened their mind to things they didn't think about before. And that was a really strong selling point for me. But honestly, when I first heard about it, like I like to travel. I like to go out and like see what else the world has to offer outside of California. And to be able to do that and immerse myself in my culture and history was like it was a double selling point for me. Like once I heard about it, I knew I was gonna go.
Tyler?
I when I heard about it, I was like amazing because like I was it gave me the opportunity to learn more about like African American history and to also like travel the South. And I also started in New Orleans, so it was great that it was like a 5 minute drive away from my house. I didn't have to like go too far to go to the hotel and stuff. So that was really a breathtaker for me.
Thank you. Malia?
Yeah, my initial reaction was excitement when I heard about the trip. I remember calling my dad right after class and telling him about it, and he was like, "Well, you're gonna go anyway," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go anyway." So, it was just really exciting to hear about what we would do, and then also like everyone has been saying, hearing the upperclassmen talk about it. Um, and I had only been down south a few times before, and the last time I went, it wasn't my original vision. So I knew that this would be like a really good experience to kind of, change like my last impact from being down there. So yeah, and then also to hang out with my friends and bond with them in a space that would allow us to kind of get to know each other better outside of an academic environment.
And Desta, when you first heard about it?
Well, I first heard about it when I was applying to get into the Black Scholars Program. I remember once I got into USF itself, I was looking at all the things that were offered throughout the base program and the Black Scholars Program. So I heard about it from there, and me and my family already were like, if you get into this program, you're gonna be on that trip. And so it was never a doubt in my mind that I was gonna go, but especially once like we were in class last semester and we would hear all the upperclassmen and other people that have gone on the trip like telling us how transformational it was. It was definitely it just made me even more excited to go. And then just also being able to visit the South and like learn more history, like where it took place more per se, because I'm from Southern California, like I said earlier, and we do get some Black history, but it's more like just in the month of February, and then you get it for like an hour, and they show you like some sweet video about Martin Luther King, and that's about it. So I wanted to go somewhere where I would actually be able to learn like the more of the full truth, and it was just a really good experience because I feel like I got everything that I wanted from that. So yeah.
I just got to say, I'm so happy that you got to experience it. It didn't happen when I was there. This was not built in. And I'm just so thrilled that you are able to go on this immersion tour. And I will also say I did not have people like this sitting next to me when I was there. I didn't have any instructors like Dr. Harrison and Dr. Sears and who am I leaving out? And all of them there, we had to teach ourselves. We went and got books and read to each other. So I'm so thrilled that this is a formal part of your education because you got to get it. As far as I'm concerned, you got to get it. All right, we're gonna now. Here we go. Here we go. Still, no, Leah still knows I like to do this. All right, Naomi, one word to describe the trip, and then we're going to go into detail. Give me your word.
Ooh, one word. Wow, that was really on the
Wow.
spot.
Is that the word wow?
Wow, I would like to say revolutionary.
Revolution. Okay, good. That's your word. Okay. Janelle?
I would say enlightening.
Hmm?
Enlightening.
Lightning. Okay. Revolutionary, enlightening. Journey?
Emotional.
Emotional. All right. Tyler? Oh, we lost him again. We lost him again. Right? Right?
I wonder if it's the headphones. And what do you think?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Malia. Your word.
My word, insightful.
Insightful. Okay. Desta.
I already said it before, but transformational.
All right.
Transformational.
Transformational. That's right. All right. Okay. Now let's go into a little depth. Let's start with Janelle. All right. Just talk about the trip, places. I don't know. Just we went to one place and like what? Just you're so full. I know, but go ahead. Just talk about its impact on you. Let's go into a little more depth. You don't have to do it all because we got a lot of you and we can always come back. But go ahead.
So this trip was just like really amazing to have gone on. I'd firstly like to thank the all of the staff and faculty for making this trip possible and like how grateful I am for the opportunity to have gone on it. I think my favorite city to visit was New Orleans and just like learning about the Black culture and how it's persevered after like tough times such as Katrina and all that they've done to like continue to hold on to their traditions. I really enjoyed going to the Backstreet Museum and Preservation Hall and seeing like such live cultures of Black history.
Malia?
I think my favorite part about the trip would definitely have to be the Legacy Museum that we went to, seeing all the art and sculptures that were there, and just kind of really being immersed in the visuals. They had like holograms for one of the exhibits, and that was really impactful to see kind of, like that could have been me or like that was me through my ancestors like years ago. And I think that was a very emotional day for a lot of us, and seeing everybody be very supportive and vulnerable with each other at that point in the trip was really impactful and inspiring to see. I definitely enjoyed hearing our reflection that we had after that day as well. We did a lot of reflections throughout the trip, and I think that was the one that kind of really hit me the most, just hearing my peers share what they had experienced and what they had felt. So that was definitely the highlight, I would say, of what we had experienced and learned on that day.
Thank you so much. Tyler. You want to try it? We good? Oh, I got to my email part. Tyler, you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. I think my favorite city was I have to go with Atlanta. I really liked Atlanta. I think it was like a really pretty city. I haven't been there in like a couple of years, so it's nice to go back. I like walking along like the streets, and I like the food, the environment. Like it felt very homey. Like it felt very similar to New Orleans in a sense. Also like the I think we went to Spelman College. Like we went to like a college tour, so that was like really awesome. Like seeing all the people that are like walking around and like living their lives, and it was almost like it was very inspirational for me. I just really like, appreciated being there in the city, and also the people were just very nice as well. So that's what I really liked about it. I say ATL is my favorite.
Journey?
Let me see. I think like a moment that kind of stood out to me, well, not even just a moment, just the city overall of New Orleans, really stood out to me. And I think that's when I started to, since it was the start of the trip, of course, but like with the activities we were doing, I was really coming to terms with just how emotional and how up and down my like emotions would be on this trip. Cause I remember one day we went to the plantation, as everyone had mentioned. And then if I remember correctly, like later that night we had went to like a jazz club, and it was such a different like experience. Obviously, like it was just like I just went through a whirlwind of emotions that day, having been through the plantation and been emotional and stepping foot through what my ancestors went through, and then to go somewhere where Black culture is celebrated to the max was such an interesting but super emotional experience that day. And I also really resonate with everything that was said about the Legacy Museum. That I've seen plenty of museums cover Black history, not quite like that, but that was the first time I saw mass incarceration covered, and that was something that was super important and monumental to me, especially as we talk about the parallels in terms of slavery and the continued struggle our people go through.
Well said. Well said. Esther?
So sorry, what was the question again? I want to answer it
I don't
correctly.
even remember the question.
Okay, because
Just
okay,
talk
anyway.
about your experience. Just talk about the experience.
Well, to go back to the word that I chose, transformational, I said that because, like I mentioned before, like growing up in a place where there's not that many Black people, it's like because of my parents and how like they are I already knew like a lot of my history, but now that I've been on the trip, I feel like before I went on this trip, I felt more detached from it. But because I would like read it and hear it, and it would be like very traumatic or like just very upsetting. But I don't think it really set in to me that like this happened to like my own bloodline before, if that makes sense. Like I knew it, but I didn't know it until going on this trip. And especially, like I think Malia said, the Legacy Museum was a specific one that was really like, it really set in that this was like I don't know, just yeah, it just really set in there. And that was the definitely the place where like the emotions were the highest. And I'm not a person who usually cries that much, but it was like as soon as I stepped in there, it was just like tears coming out because of it just really like I'm saying, like it just sunk into me that like dang, like this is really something that has affected us for so long, and like we're taught in ways that diminish how like truly awful everything that has happened to us has been. But going to places like this where they tell everything, they don't try to hide like some of it or like say it in a biased way or anything. Like they tell the full truth no matter how upsetting or traumatic it may be. It was just really it was like I said transformational to just be able to see all that and also just witness it with other people who are in the same boat as me, like my friends and the other faculty, and just it was a really great opportunity to be able to experience that.
Wow. Naomi, did I ask you?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay, I thought so.
But thanks for not making me go first again. But I going into this trip, I had for years, whole life. I'm also from San Diego, so I have this really one view of the South. I only hear about it through the news, through history, and that's just like that was no man's land. That was, I said, I'd never been to the South, had no intentions visiting, living, nothing. I don't want to go there. And so going on this trip, I really wanted to have my mind changed. I wanted to understand why, if given the chance to leave, why our people stay, why there's yeah, just why we're still in these spaces that historically have not always been the best for us. And I think the place that immediately made me change my mind was Louisiana, and being in New Orleans and going to the Baxter Museum, going to see a jazz performance. And we went on a swamp tour, and we got to see the swamp where one of the swamp places where a clip from Tiana was based off of. I got to hold the baby baby gator. So yeah, no business holding a baby gator either, but it just automatically there was such a connection to the culture. And we went to, I think it was B Mike. Am I correct, guys? B Mike, Mike B. Wait, B Mike. I'm gonna say B Mike Studio or Studio B. Studio B. We went to Studio B and we got to see this beautiful artwork made from spray paint, and it was just um, it was truly it was just beautiful. And to understand that there is a rich culture that no matter how awful it was, how awful it can be, that's it's in us to survive. We're not going anywhere, so we might as well make it as homey as can be. We might as well create our own culture, and that was really nice to see, not only in New Orleans but throughout the trip.
Well, it's great, wonderful hearing all of this. There's a couple things I always clarify when I do, Lady E and I do the classes. First thing I tell them is, and for so long we've been told you heard me say the word descendants of slaves, and I say no, not descendants of slaves. You are the descendants of free people who are kidnapped and enslaved. Okay, you're not descendants of a slave. You're a free person who was kidnapped, right? And I tell them, like, imagine, you see these TV shows of people who are kidnapped and then they go live in a place and they think their beginning was with no, they had a whole nother life before that. And when they find out what they want to know, what was it like before? And this is part of the story. The part, the African experience, our experience in America is part of that story. And I always link into personal history. So when the kids tell me, Dr. Moore, you don't know me, you know what I'm doing. Well, so man, tell me, tell me all about you. And don't tell me all of it. Don't start with what happened at 15. Because if I really want to know how you are, I gotta know I was born on May 1st, 2001. I want to hear the whole story because I want to hear about the journey of your life. And we want to know our people's whole story, right? We want to know it all. And it's unfortunate that somehow, I didn't know the story. I knew my little who else is from LA? I knew the South Central slice, right? That's all I knew. A lot of that was watching them crazy movies that didn't, and I had to find out the whole slice, and it gave me a fuller understanding of the journey that we have been through. And so it's so wonderful to be able to get the African American, the American part of the slice, right? And I know the way you framed it, the enslavement, everything, and the resistance, because we've been resisting this from the time that we hit these shores.
Absolutely.
From the time they tried to strip everything, it's been like, no, and all those stages and all of that. And, and I think it was Dessa that said that making it personal, when it's yours. There's a movie out right now that I think some of you have seen. I'll give you. It's called the 6888. Has anybody seen this?
Yes.
Have you seen 6888?
Yeah.
On Netflix. Wonderful movie. It's the story of the all black women's unit in World War II that did this amazing thing of just distributing the mail to all the soldiers, right? It's the latest Hidden Figures thing, right? It's, again, we didn't know. And so I found out about the story and like, oh man, why they leave this out? See, my thing is why you keep leaving all this stuff out. I mean, you talk about everything else going on in World War II. Why you leave the sisters out, right? So I'm watching the movie. And what a wonderful story. Then I'm sitting back and I'm talking to my brothers and sisters and find out that my mother was one of the 6888, right? I'm like, what? Now my mother is talking about like, well, I was over there, baby.
Really?
We was over there and we had some mail to do. Like it was no big deal, which is what black women do. It's like, yeah, I got to deal with the house. I can deal with the Germans. I can deal with anything else. And you see the full story of what my mama's going. So that's I get that. It's personal, but all my people's personal. So I get that. To being connected with all of that is just, I must make you feel like, woo. And then you're part of all of this because they only did this for one reason. This. This was legislated into it.
Yeah.
This was lit. They wrote laws with this, and so, when you heard about the black codes, it's the black code, and you had to face all that. So I'm watching my mother deal with all, now it's my mother. It's like, it's really personal now. Deal with all, and it's amazing, still all right. It's amazing, still all right. So I mean, how you feeling since you've been there? Look, gonna take you to Africa next. Okay, how you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? Go ahead, tell me how you feeling.
I'll go
Happy, sad,
first.
blown away, what? Processing, still processing, what? Go ahead. Somebody say something.
Um, I'll go first. So me and I think Tyler are both in actually Professor Harrison's African American history class. She was for those who don't know, she was like the historical like leader of the trip. And so we learned like a bunch of stuff from her just in that 1 week, but being in her class after is also really interesting and also very transformative too, because since like being on the trip and like really um feeling more connected to the history, then like having to read and learn even more about not only just like the slave trade, but also stuff beforehand, and then like more personal accounts of what it really was like to be a slave and stuff like that. So just being able to be in that class after such a transformative trip is very, at times it can be very disheartening because of all the stuff we're reading. Like, for example, we're reading a book right now called When I Was a Slave, and it just has a bunch of accounts from different formerly enslaved people, and it's like one of the only accounts of, it was like one of the only recordings of these people before they died. It was I think they were all recorded in like the 1930s or so. So they're all like very old and talking about their experience. And so reading this can be very disheartening, but it's also um just very, I don't know, it's happy isn't the word. That's not a good word for this, but it's just it's very nice to be able to connect to such a rich history and just to see like where we are now and being able to be in programs like this and other stuff like that, getting to learn this stuff and being just a part of a group of people that have been through so much and still obviously can prosper in our own ways and stuff like that. It's just very it makes it makes me proud to be Black.
Amen.
Amen. Malia, how you feeling?
Yeah. I think I'm still processing bits and pieces of it. Um, on the trip, I kind of had a hard time in the moment connecting to what we were consuming with like all the information and like the sites just because it was a lot to take in. And then also I didn't really feel in the moment like I was connecting to the history like my peers were. But then after coming back and having time to think about and discuss with other people and like even my family back home when I would like call them after the trip, I definitely feel very seen, I think, with the history that we've gone through. I feel like we've haven't been invisible, because we've obviously made our own light, but just kind of having been in these spaces and seeing that there are people who are taking their own initiative to make sure that we are seen and encouraging others to come and explore and hear about these stories is very impactful for me. But I would say I feel very happy overall and also just kind of more like I've matured because of the trip in terms of understanding and seeing Black history. And I feel more empowered to even tell like my siblings and my little sister, like when you start learning about Black history and your teacher says, "Oh, the slaves," like it should be the enslaved, not slaves. So I feel like I have more of a want to, correct what is kind of mistaught for my younger generational family and friends.
Thank you. Naomi, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think empowered is a really strong word, and that's exactly how I feel as well. I know I said revolutionary before, but I think that's what I really wanted to bring back was, I guess, a revolution, personal revolution, a revolution in general. I think that feeling of empowerment is kind of structured in our course as well. We have our first semester where we learn everything that we're going to go into and extra things about Black history, culture, and society, politics, and then we go on this trip and we get to see everything, go through it, and then we come back. And now we're in the community engaged learning portion in the Fillmore, and now we get to actually support and the Black community directly with us here in San Francisco. We get to learn more about the San Franciscan Black community as well as support them. And as well as like what Malia was saying with passing things down to siblings, to friends. I think as soon as I was done with the trip, I was sitting everybody down. I said, let me tell you what I learned. And if you don't want to hear from me, here are things that you can watch. Here are things that you can go learn about, because it's so much to just learn. But now we have to do it. It was a quote in Africa Town. One of the members of Africa Town was saying that so many people say, I've been there and I've been there. But like the real question is, what do you do after you've left? And I think that really struck with me. And that's what I've been trying to, the energy that I want to bring back is, what do I do now that I've been there? And it's all about giving back. It's all about taking action. We can't just, I think it's very important to learn, and especially to learn in a society, a country, a history that is so often diluted. But now that we've learned, we need to take action on it. And that's like the empowering feeling that I feel that I need to do something, so that I feel like I have, like I've read names of hundreds of people, thousands of people, and I feel like they are with me now, and I need to do something to help them and to help us.
Journey.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna be hard to follow up. I'm still trying to gather my thoughts and everything from the trip. And Naomi, that was beautifully said. Everyone, you guys really captured it beautifully. And I think about my experience on the trip and my post experience after the trip. I definitely still feel that emotional roller coaster, thinking of different aspects of the trip in different, not even just different locations, but different parts like that are associated with that location. For example, while I was reflecting on what I was going to say, I was thinking of Africa Town, and how empowering it was to hear that that group of eventually freed enslaved people set up a town and looked out for each other and had that strong sense of community, uplifted each other, supported each other, had their own way of doing things. It was really beautiful to hear about. But then when you look around the environment around it and you see power plants, and you know that it's nicknamed, I think, like Cancer Alley or something like that, and it's a community of elders fighting to keep that story alive and fighting to keep that land, that piece of history that is truly lost. I didn't hear about Africa Town in school. I didn't even hear about it from my grandfather and my mother, who gave me all of the Black history knowledge that I really have in my young adult life. I didn't really get it from the school system. So seeing that community of elders live in such a health violating environment while fighting to keep that story alive, the story in and of itself empowers me and resonates with me. But the fact that they're living in that environment, the government is not doing anything to help them and has no interest in doing anything to help them, settles a deep rage in me, along with a lot of other details of this trip. When I said I went through an emotional roller coaster, I meant every letter, syllable of that. I feel a stronger sense of Black pride and connection to my culture and community. I believe it was Desta who was saying, like, I learned a lot about it from my family, and like I would go through my day to day acutely aware of, like, oh, my ancestors were enslaved, my ancestors went through segregation, da 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 da. But it's not, the trip really connected it for me and really brought it into light, like, nah, this isn't just Black history, this is my history, this is my legacy, my people. And something that really, really tied it together for me was, I think we were still in Louisiana, forgive me if I'm wrong, but we went to another like memorial for the enslaved, and at the end there was a wall of just different last names of all of those who lived in different parts of the South. And at the end you could go look it up using the technology they had, and I saw my last name, Artist. I was already aware it was a French last name.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
And
Lord. This is the EJI.
that the EGI, yes, thank you, Tyler. That I wept when I saw my last name on that wall. I I knew it was coming. I knew I was gonna find it eventually, but that was a lot to take in. That really solidified just my family lineage and history for me. And then looking it up and seeing like the different points in it. Like I mentioned that I'm from LA County, but my family's from the South, Virginia specifically. And seeing that little blue dot light up on Virginia, like it was just a lot. It was like, wow, like I'm finally becoming a little bit more connected to something that was lost and taken from me. Cause I didn't have access to these narratives like that for real. Like I knew that my grandfather's grandfather was a slave, but to just get an in-depth perspective on it and everything was so life-changing. And I'm so grateful I went, and I would love to go again, truly. I'm sorry, I know that took a long time, but thank y'all.
Girl, let me tell you, I understand the crying thing because when I saw my mother's name at the end of the movie, I was boohooing in the movie like, look, I get that completely because that's your family. That's your family. Wow. Tyler. I was
Hi, hi.
tell myself, what did I ask?
How you feeling?
How you feeling? That's right. How you feeling after the trip?
Hi. I'm doing pretty good. Everybody had a really good response. I guess I'll start with saying that I think for me, like what I find like most important about this trip was also kind of seeing the aftermath of it. And like it's kind of like this realization that like coming from New Orleans, like I a lot of what the history that I learned was African American history. And so I was learning a lot about this sort of stuff from a very young age, like as young as like 7, 8. I was learning about like Emmett Till and like all the things that happened. And I think for me, it's like I I'd say that I'm really grateful that I was able to be on this trip. If I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but I was like one of the last ones. Like I was like one of the last ones to come out of every museum with Cynthia. I think we were two like the last one to come out every one. Um, I was just in there reading the entire time because I always love reading and learning about like different things and different life experiences. And like it's kind of hard like to try to put yourself into like their headspace and like what they were going through because it's like the life we're living in now is like completely different from what was going on way back then. And it's also surreal that it's like when we think about like the end of like the civil rights movement, for example, like that's the truth is like that never really went away. Like it could have been in your parents' lifetime, and it's kind of so surreal that like even though that happened like a couple of years ago or so, like and the reality of it is like it still is going on right now. And like it actually wasn't so long ago. Like it could be in your parents or your grandparents lifetime, which is like nothing. So it's even though we have regret progressed so much, there's still so much that we still have to keep going in order to fight for our equal rights and fight for to be really be seen. And it's just like the way that this world is right now is obviously it's like wow, it's so surreal the way things are. But I'm just so grateful again that I was able to go on this trip. I was able to go like different places I haven't like been in. I haven't even been on the swamp tour, and I live in New Orleans, so I've never like I was like a first time for me, and I was like, wow, it's so cool. And I was just really breathtaking. Like everything was just really surreal. And I was just so glad I was able to be there. And I say one thing to add on to what Jessica was saying, like we do take the same class with Professor Harrison. She was like the tour guide. I was she did a really great job too, and um, I was able in their class we learned more about like this one slave, for example, that like ripped out his throat, and I was like, oh god, that's so bad. Like it's kind of surreal. It's like it's hard to believe that like they went through those sort of things just for us to be able to be here today. And the time span is like could be between 500 to no less than like 200-ish years. And in reality, that's like nothing. Like that's so short. We have progressed so much, but at the same time, we still have so much more to go through. And I'm just so happy like we're able to be here today because of like their sacrifices. So and whatever they did to be able to be here today, like I'm just really grateful for that.
Now, I think you're the only one I haven't asked. So, how you feeling?
I feel like Naomi said, really empowered. Going to these sites and seeing the Black communities and how they're like still thriving and still persevering has been really empowering to see. And then to come back here to San Francisco and be involved with the Fillmore community has been like really like empowering. And it's also the entire trip was like really encouraging to me to see the fight that everyone like before me has had and how much I should like continue that fight and for the people who come after me. And for anyone who's listening who hasn't been to these sites, I like really encourage you if you have the opportunity because going to these museums and Black historical sites, there's nothing like it. The knowledge that you will gain from being able to be in the spaces is just beyond like comprehensible.
How you feel about these? Boy, you must. Lord, y'all are saints. Okay.
They are impressive young folk.
Well, yeah, but somebody's got to set it up. Somebody's got to believe that it should be done. Something. How you feeling about what you did? You like? I'm blown away, more than blown away. How do you two feel hearing them?
I'm over here hiding my tears because I was
Yeah.
hearing them as they were talking.
Yeah.
But for me, it was my first time, and so I'm just truly appreciative that Dr. Lawrence, who's our senior director for the BASE program, invited me to be a part of this experience. I'm so grateful for you, Dr. Marshall, and your commitment to the BASE program and allowing these students to have this opportunity to go on this trip. And then also Dr. Harrison, who had a dream, as you mentioned, a Black woman who made it seem easy. She created this curriculum, and to see the program sustain after so many years, just beautiful. And I hope that I have the opportunity. And I'm not trying to get emotional.
Why not? It's
But-
emotional stuff.
But it's just, yeah, it was great.
It
It
has
was just,
emotional stuff.
yeah, I'm a big crybaby.
And I
But,
think that
We people.
yeah.
Brother, don't be trying to get a heart attack now. Just to let it all out.
all of us have been through a college and did not have this experience.
Right.
You know, and I just hope that you all understand just how blessed
Yeah.
and you all are to have this. I also went to a PWI and did not necessarily have this organized curriculum and organized way that they have put it together for you all, living together and taking a course together and moving together. You got this whole cohort of people who have done something that together that you all can take for the rest of your lives. Like you all will know each other, you know, for so many years. And we just did not have this. And I just am so impressed with how USF has set this up for the students, and to hear their stories afterwards, it's just absolutely fantastic to do that. And as someone who interviews some of the folks to be in the program, I think just about all of them. I see the special light then, and I see it getting brighter and brighter each year that I've seen you all.
Before I go to Lady E, who sums up everything we do in the most, where's my pictures going, eloquent way, let me just say something. You can't lose. No matter what happens in life, you can't lose. All of those people are with you. I'm a big believer in the ancestors.
Man,
I'm huge. When I walk on into any, when I come in here, they're like, I don't know, 500,000 of them. They're all with me, right? Yeah. And I can start calling off names. You know, I'll be calling off Martin Delaney, and you know, I'll be calling off the abolitionists, but they're all with me. So I know I can't lose. I can be, you know, it can be setbacks, there can be this, and I can't get down. And my grandmother told me something when I was 6 years old. The more you know, the more you owe. Which meant as you go in progress in life, you must help others. Of course, I didn't know what she meant. She said, baby, you'll learn, you know, well, grandmother's talk to you. But the more you know, the more I do, right? So it's when you say, I have to do this. Ain't no way, because I owe all of those who paved the way for me, right? And if anytime you get that, you can't, because they're all with you. And you can pray to them, talk to them, you know, and it's just it enables us. That's the thing that has enabled us to resist and not just survive, but to make it in a system that was designed for our failure. This whole thing was designed for us to fail, okay? It wasn't because they were benevolent and said, well, we changed our mind. No. You've been fighting. That's why I hate people say we gave you something. You ain't gave us nothing. We had to fight for everything we got, right? And so that's all in all of us. And this current time is another fight, and you'll be fine. And you come from people who have seen it before. And yeah, Laura, I'm feeling good. Okay, Lady E, you are the one and only. You've been taking notes. You are amazing, Grace. Go right ahead. You like that, see?
What? All right. More than words, more than anything you ever heard, more than what someone said, more than the stories that were withheld, more than people saying things hard to believe, more than information that can be disheartening, more than what you could imagine that could possibly be true. To discover all the historical richness of you. You were able to experience and see a painful yet rich and powerful history. And despite the pain of this reality, know the resilience, strength, and brilliance from the past is a gift that you now have. It will guide you, empower, and allow you to see that within you is this and more. Yes, you are theirs and our wildest dreams. This is Lady Estelle asking you to consider this. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank all of you so much. Thank you again. Yeah, happy Black History Month. Keep it up. Keep it up. Work to do. Your stars are shining bright. That's what we do. We shine bright. No matter what we do, we shine bright.
Yeah.
I will see you soon. Remember, I got to call Adrian Riley right now. She's probably watching and say the Marshall Riley young people did fantastic. They can keep our name.
I see y'all in class tomorrow.
See you. Good night. Thank you so
Good
much.
night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.